Okay. 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 Um, Today we have with us Sister Sakina, the Director of Operations of Muslim Homeschoolers. MashaAllah, tabarakallah, jazakallah khair for your time. Thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you for being on the series of um, homeschooling solutions to the confusion. Alhamdulillah. How are you?
I'm good. Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Nice. So, Sister Sakina, I would like you to introduce yourself a bit to the audience, inshallah.
So I'm Sakina, and I am a homeschooling mom of 11 years. I have 4 children. I have a soon-to-be 19-year-old, 15-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a soon-to-be 6-year-old daughter. I live in New Jersey. We have a homeschool community and co-op here that is Muslim-based. And I work and homeschool my kids year round. And that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. Mashallah, tabarakallah. So you have homeschooled all of your children?
Yes,
Mashallah.
my children.
Mashallah, mashallah. And your eldest is in high school?
Yes, no, she's in college. She's a
Mashallah.
sophomore in college, mashallah.
Mashallah, tabarakallah. That's awesome. As a homeschooler for children who are now going to be entering into high school, I really love talking to parents who have already gone through that phase and who send their children to college. Mashallah, tabarakallah. I feel as if it's a big feat, which I really honestly think any parent would feel like, I did it, alhamdulillah. So but before that discussion of high school and then going to college and the transition and the things that you need to do, I would love for you to tell us about how did Muslim Homeschoolers, the co-op that you run, how did that came about, the people that joined you, what are the, are you taking in students with the COVID? How has that changed? All of that, so that, the audience would love to hear from you, inshallah.
So Muslim homeschoolers, when I started homeschooling all those years back, homeschooling looked very different. There weren't many support groups. There weren't many families who homeschooled. And if there were families who homeschooled, it was kind of like a hush-hush thing. It was like this secret society that nobody knew about. And you were definitely taking some type of risk by choosing to homeschool your children.
Mm-hmm.
Different from other parents, I always knew that I wanted to homeschool my children. I always knew that. So it was something that I had to align my goals and make the appropriate steps so I was able to, because when my oldest daughter was younger, I wasn't able to start her off the way I wanted to. So I did send her to traditional school for a couple years until I got the support system in place that I needed to make the decision to homeschool my children. And at that time, I was searching for resources. I was searching for support groups and all of those different things. And what I ended up doing was I started to join a lot of Christian-based homeschool co-ops or non-secular groups. At the time, I was living in Atlantic County. And I started, joining these different groups to try to figure out, how to make this happen for me and my children. And eventually, I made the best decision to move closer to my parents and to settle here, and to build up my support system and align my work and all of those types of things so that I would be able to accomplish the goal. And when I did that, I was far away from the communities that I had already joined in Atlantic County. So I was thinking to myself, how are we going to, make this work for our families? So there were a few families in the community in South Jersey who were either thinking about homeschooling or who had already started the journey of homeschooling. And we would get together and we would meet and we would talk. And we started Muslim Homeschoolers just being a once a month um, gathering that we would get together with the kids. We would do activities. We would allow them to, have free play, and we would discuss the ins and outs of homeschooling and parenting and mothering and so forth. And from there spawned us into a co-op and actually asking other families to join us and, putting together a structure and a foundation for it, getting the classes and talking about the curriculum and, the structure and all of those types of things. And we've been smooth sailing since then. When Corona hit, that was kind of, it's a little devastating for our families because our homeschool community is more about, just the families coming together. So our children are very, very close. The moms are very, very close. I always feel like there's somebody in our community for each individual mother to develop like a buddy system of support. And a lot of, contrary to what people think, is that, homeschoolers spend their day at the kitchen table, there's no socialization. We are so far from that. I feel like, when we're actively running, even outside of co-op, because we develop these friendships, we spend time outside of co-op where you will find some of the moms that have younger children getting together to do play dates, or some of the moms who have older sons, getting them together for activities and, even to study together and things of that nature. So to have to, stop our co-op in the middle of our spring session, the kids would ask literally every single day, when are we going back to co-op? So it was a lot, but as always, we still, we keep into contact regularly. We have different social pages and things that we talk on and, call each other. So we still continue to keep our friendships and the community thriving outside of the co-op. But it's time to actually get back together and, get us
Sorry.
back to doing what we love.
Yeah. So just again, a question that came up is the other interviewers that I've done, majority of them, they have their website and they have their own curriculum that they've put up, right? But Muslim homeschoolers, if please correct my understanding, do you tell them for a particular curriculum to follow, age group wise or school age wise, or is it like they have their own choice but you have a buddy system built in, and the homeschoolers or the Muslim homeschoolers are more focused on the buddy system rather than what curriculum each and every one of them is going through? How does that work?
So that's a great question. We are such a well-rounded community of homeschoolers, and that's another thing that makes it such a beautiful and diverse group. We have all different backgrounds, all different teaching styles, and even systems of actually rearing our children are very, very different. In our group, we have some unschoolers, we have some structured schoolers, we have schoolers who do online curriculums, and we have schoolers who teach from textbooks. So, you know, with the younger kids within the co-op, we teach through learning through play. And we try to, for the most part, adhere to like a Montessori style with the younger kids. It's not as precise and structured, like we don't follow it by the book, but we use it definitely as a guide, creating that learning environment for our children and allowing them to explore and learn as they grow. For the older kids, what we wanted is we didn't want one of those co-ops where the kids felt like they were leaving their homes, you know, doing their schoolwork, and then they were coming to a group just to sit there and do, just mundane school drills. We didn't want that. We wanted the kids to come and get something that they normally would not get in the home environment, or even in the school environment for that matter. So we wanted to put together workshops that really allow the kids to come alive, to be hands-on, to be exciting. We also wanted to put in athletics, and we teach the sunnah sports that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam recommended that our children learn. So we do archery, swimming, combat sports, all of those types of things. And we choose workshops that we know the kids are going to want to come and do. So for the girls, we've done jewelry making. We do a poetry tea time with them. The boys, this past spring, they actually went to a gym and they did athletics, under the instructor of a fitness trainer. So those types of things we like to bring alive. The director of education, who is Angie, who is my right-hand partner, she would sit down and discuss what STEM programs she wanted to bring to the program, because STEM is Angie's background. So then we would do.
Sorry, stop. Can
Right,
you
sure.
touch up on SIM, please?
Say it again.
You said SIMS program. Did you say that? Did I hear that
Oh,
correct?
STEM
Okay.
programs.
STEM. Okay. Okay.
Yes. So we did Harry Potter science, we just try to do fun and exciting things. We want the kids to come and be in a social environment that is guided by like-minded, like-moral adults. Another thing that makes our co-op different is we have what we call our passionate professionals. And a lot of our moms, I'm going to be honest, a lot of our moms are burnt out. A lot of our moms are dealing with, raising children and keeping house. And, some of them may work from home, or, just have, busy lives. When they come to the co-op, we want the moms to be able to be hands-on with the learning environment, but at the same time, take a break from always having to be the facilitator. So we actually pay professionals to come in and teach majority of our workshops. So whether that's bringing in artists to do, to do a pottery clay class, we've had that. We like people to come in and teach. We're doing sign language this past semester. We're finishing off in fall. So we have a professional come in, a professional to come in to teach those particular workshops.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So just to reiterate everything that you said in a few simple lines, why is your interview different from the ones that I've done in the past is because Muslim homeschoolers is giving them skills outside of the books and the curricula. You have told parents, you do your things that you need to do at home. You are fine with the books, textbooks, unschooling, whatever you're doing, that's your part. What I'm going to add is enriching the children, making them well-rounded, like you said, bringing in the Muslim community. And that is why I love the idea of Muslim homeschoolers, because a lot of us want that community but are unable to get it, right?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
so for the people who are living close by, they can definitely join Muslim homeschoolers, but the ones who are listening and maybe they're somewhere around the world, take this idea from Sister Sakina and Sister Angie and build your community where you don't have to teach them, you don't have to, bring in books and say, okay, today our children are going to do this chapter and this chapter, and all of them have to be on the same books. Books can be different. Methodology of learning can be different, but what can be together is the community, the socialization, and the building of skills that are required outside. And mashallah, tabarakallah, for you and Angie to go out of the way to hire instructors, to hire professionals to bring in for jewelry making or story writing or archery or whatever that you bring to the plate. That's really beautiful. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah.
Absolutely. And you don't need many families. We
Yes.
literally sat down and started this discussion with 3 families.
Right.
Just three.
Right.
And then you just come up with a simple plan. It could be something very simple. Start with, an hour a month and then build upon that and figure out what it is you want to do with your children and just and get them together.
Definitely. Because the mothers, what happens is, you're so right that when I had my group, we were also just three mothers, right?
Mhm.
And it was, and initially it felt as if, no, this is easy. Each one of us has our own strengths, so we will teach our own subjects, and everybody has their day of cooking, so they will cook, and if we will get together. But it became difficult. It
Yeah.
really did become difficult. Oh, wow. I don't know why my Zoom. Just a second. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
I can see you and hear you fine.
Okay, alhamdulillah. So it was so how did you manage from three families to extend and not burn out? Give the moms some, some practical steps that you did, because you're a mom of five, mashallah, tabarakallah, and you work full time as well, and you do the
Some
homeschooling.
practical steps, again, is getting those like-minded moms that are actually going to take charge, and those moms that are going to be consistent, and those moms that are passionate. Those are the ones that you want to sit down and have a round table with. And sometimes you can just kind of scout that out. You can feel someone's energy and say, okay, this is someone that I want to be part of my tribe. And then from there, you create this loving and warm and accepting atmosphere, and the parents will come. The parents will come. When we first started, we didn't start out doing merchandising. We didn't have a Instagram page when we started. It was basically just word of mouth, families hearing about what we were doing, families who had stories. What we would do is when we would come together once a month, we would just allow the families to talk about some of the things they were experiencing in the school system, or Angie, mashallah, Angie joined me in this journey when she was pregnant with her first child. That
Mashallah.
was a mom who said, I want to do something different.
Right.
This is, from the very beginning, from the womb, I want to do something different with my children. So it has to, you have to have moms who have that same feeling that I just want to go against the tide, and I want to take the risk, and I want to do something different. And then once you develop that little small group of families who have like-minded goals, you put a plan into action. And once you put that plan into action, then the word of mouth. You start talking to other families start seeking you out. Sometimes you can, we've gotten families just from being out in public or at trips, or, someone hearing about what we were doing. And before you know it, our homeschool co-op began to grow and grow and grow. And then that's when we started doing Facebooks and Instagram. And even with that, I would say majority of our families simply came from word of mouth and the surrounding communities.
MashaAllah, tabarakallah. So jazakallah khair for that portion. Now let's move on to the second section, which I am most interested in. MashaAllah, high school and college. How did you figure that out?
High school and college. So now I have a high schooler, my 15-year-old, and before her there was, her older sister. And one thing, and I think we were discussing this earlier, but one thing, um, off camera, but one thing that I loved about homeschooling is to be able to see your children's individual qualities, their skills, their mindset, what really sparks their interest, what they're into, what things they like learning, and how they learn, their particular learning style. And once you see that, you can actually start seeing this as early as, when they're just toddlers. You just observe your children. And that's something that you're not able to do when they're in a public school system. You have someone else, basically telling your child that they have to fit in this particular mold. With
Yes.
homeschooling, you're able to really allow them to guide the learning path.
Mhm.
So with my oldest daughter, Sajwa, she had this profound interest in science. She was always exceptionally good at mathematics. And when she was, just, I would say, maybe, young, she had her goals of what she wanted to be.
I can imagine.
So, because of that, we started getting her involved in more sciences. And what
Mhm.
I did is, while Sandra was homeschooling the middle school years, I started looking for different workshops and different enrichment activities, and just programs that was going to get her set up for her career goals.
Mhm.
From there, I started giving her more science classes online, the textbooks surrounding her with different words and vocabulary and all of those things to spark her interest of math and science. And she knew that she wanted to go to STEM. She had a pediatrician who she absolutely loved, and she said, "This is what I want to do when I get older."
Okay.
So from that point, we had her registered for our local technical school where she was able to get her certification as a certified home health aide and certified nursing assistants through this particular program. And then outside of that, we had her taking college courses at our local community college. And what that looks like here in South Jersey is that some of the South Jersey, we call this like it's not a homeschool state. It's not one of those states that really support the homeschooling families.
And this point is very important, Sister Sakina,
Mhm.
because you know what? A lot of majority of the people that I know or that come to me are not from the states or even places in the world that support the homeschooling. So anybody listening, anybody who has continued to listen or who will be later listening, please do listen into this, that when you feel that your state or area that you're living is not supportive of homeschooling, how to go about it.
One thing you want to do when you first make the decision to homeschool, period, you have to research the homeschooling laws in your state. Okay,
Mhm.
that's very important. This way, you know exactly what's incumbent upon you as a homeschooling mom. For moms that make the decision to homeschool their children from the very beginning, they don't have to follow as much, vigorous things because a lot of parents are pulling their kids out of school.
Mhm.
But in New Jersey, if you don't put your kids in school, your kids they've never been a ward of the public school system. So it's nothing to, unenroll them from.
Right.
When I say New Jersey is not a homeschool state, um, it actually has its benefits. For me personally, I know there are some families who like the structure of having someone coming into their home, telling them what curriculums to use,
It gives balance. I think
maybe
it gives a balance.
it gives a balance.
Yeah.
In New Jersey, we don't have that. We are pretty much able to do whatever it is we want to with our children. So we can teach them any style we want to teach them. We can teach them what we want to teach them, how, when. So it's a lot of flexibility. And there are some community college. Rowan definitely has a program where when the children turn 16 years old, you're able to enroll them into the county college. And they also have a coordinator. They have a homeschool coordinator that actually works there
That's fantastic.
that you can buddy up with
Mhm.
to get selected courses that's going to align with your kids' goals. You can talk to them about prereqs. You can talk to them about, career placement and, just basically getting them on a path. Even if you want to just enroll them so that they have those 2 years under their belt, later on they can always switch to a 4-year college or things of that nature. But even if they're still doing their online high school curriculum, they can enroll into the homeschooling. It's kind of like a transition program where they can start taking classes.
Alhamdulillah, mashallah, mashallah. That's absolutely fantastic. So the tip is please look into the community colleges and look into colleges as well and the programs that are there for homeschoolers that are helping them and that will help with the transition and help offer classes so that the homeschooler is already set on the path of getting into a good college and getting in their career start getting their career boost up inshallah tabarak.
Absolutely. I mean, I know that some moms have or some families rather have their eyes set on particular universities. I know that my daughter, for one, she had her 5 colleges She was very adamant about, these are the 5 colleges that I'm going to apply for. I want to get into one of these. Although, she was told to, by her counselor and things, apply for more colleges, but she already knew that if they weren't on this list, she didn't want to go there. However, I kind of feel like the classes she was taking these classes while she was in high school.
High school,
So it was
yes.
great. So it's almost as if your kids graduate high school already having an associate's degree.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. That's one of
Um,
the biggest highlights of homeschooling your high schoolers, that they are already fast-tracked with the associate.
Already fast track.
Yeah.
Yes. So when she started, by time she enrolled in college last year, she goes to Rutgers. By time she enrolled in college, she already took, so many classes that she already needed. So she didn't really have to take too many prereqs and things of that nature. She already had, you know, a lot of maths. So
Yeah.
she was ready to
She was
go.
not wasting, at least I think the first years of college, if the homeschoolers are able to save that first year, where they're just finding out what's good for them, what's not good for them in a normal college setting. The homeschoolers,
Yes, it's like
but they
it's
go
an
there like already on the
exploratory.
second year.
Yes, it's kind of like an exploratory year. And I would advise, especially financially, and now that most of the programs are virtual and doing remote learning, imagine those parents who still have to shell out the bill. I have a very close friend who has 2 daughters in college, one who is in Ivy League, and you still have to pay that tuition even though you're on Zoom. So the reality is that if you're thinking from a financial perspective, I think going to the community colleges, the neighborhood colleges, getting those 2 years under your belt, starting the kids taking courses while they're in high school. So by the time they graduate and they're ready, they've already experienced the college workload, they've experienced writing papers, they've got the tutors that they needed from the county college to help them with math or whatever it is that they may need. They took the extra writing courses. One thing that we did is we went to several college prep seminars and workshops. I also advise parents to do this. When I knew that Sajwa wanted to go to school and what she wanted to go to school for, I had Sajwa in PSAT courses, starting 8th grade.
Yes,
Seriously,
yes.
ninth grade. What's going on? Let's sit down. Let's talk about financial aid. Let's talk about what she needs to do to prepare herself. I mean, I really wanted to know everything, all the ins and outs. So I tell moms that it's never too much education on that.
Yeah. No, thank you so much. Jazakallahu khair. This was really insightful, alhamdulillah, and I hope that the audience will get some benefit, inshallah. Inshallah, you have given your time. I know, mashallah, tabarakallah. It's not easy to squeeze in time, but this, I think, this is important too, because with the COVID situation and a lot of people thinking about homeschooling, a lot of women were are looking for resources, and the whole idea was to bring people like yourself under an umbrella, so that they have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people, set homeschoolers who have done it from pre-K up until college, and they can pick and they can select and they can find out, okay, what system fits their ideas and their goals, inshallah, tabarakallah.
I love it. I think this is a really good idea because when you do go into it, and especially now, you are bombarded with so much information, so much stuff coming from every angle. What I would tell moms, and one thing that is really great also about having a community, is being able to have the curriculum sharing and the traveling libraries that go on within our groups. You read this book. So even like a lot of our early childhood moms who have younger kids, they have littles, they're pregnant, they're nursing and breastfeeding their babies. They discuss in their groups parenting, breastfeeding difficulties, pregnancy. They share books. This particular author. This is how. So you share these different tips. So you learn along the way. So a lot of different books and things of that nature that you're able to get from other moms. I feel like in our co-op, there's someone in our co-op who's experienced either exactly what you're going through or something very close, whether it's, transitioning into the teenage years, whether it's potty training or, weaning your child. We've gone through that. We even have moms in our co-op who have children who have special needs. And I
Yes.
feel like that support system is so needed, especially right now with everything being remote. How do I, you know, get some type of system of structure with my child with special needs, with my child who's craving sensory, with my child who needs to be outdoors? Them being able to discuss and, have that support system is really, really good. Puberty, rite of passage for my boys, all of those things we're able to have within our community.
That's absolutely true and absolutely beautiful. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless this work that you're doing, Alhamdulillah, and your family and the children. Ameen. So Ameen. Jazakallah khair once
And for
again.
you the same, for you the same.
Ameen. Thank you so much, Sister Sakina. So people can find you on www.muslimhomeschoolers.com.
MuslimHomeschoolers.org.
.org. Okay. So
Yes.
yes. And over there they will find the activities and support and suggestion and blog and everything, right?
And absolutely. And we even have a page up there with our coordinators. So if there's something specific related to your particular age group, or you just want to find out more information, you can always just send us a message, reach out to a particular coordinator with a question or anything like that. We do have, um, you know, we have a lot of resources that we do share. We also have our Muslim Homeschoolers Facebook. We also have our Muslim Homeschoolers Instagram. We do a lot of community events too. So when we put on an event, we like to share it. Another way that we got a lot of our homeschool moms as well is just doing community events and inviting people to come out and just see, how we fellowship with each other, how our kids play, what are some of the things that we discuss, and what that curriculum looks like for the next season. And sometimes moms will just come. They would just come for a visit. We invite people to visit us when our co-op is in session. We tell them to come for a day, and then they say, let's go, we're ready.
It goes on from there. Thank you so much. Jazakallahu khair, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Alhamdulillah.
Enjoy the rest of your day, mashallah.
Alhamdulillah, inshallah.